Logan to the rescue. It was a busy day on the main line, and some of the visitors from the mainland always like to have a ride on one of the steam engines on Sodor. Of course they were enjoying it, but Gordon, Henry and James were rushed off their wheels and were feeling very exhausted. One morning, Gordon bustled into the big station feeling very tired. Neville was there taking on passengers. "Hello, Gordon," said Neville. "You look tired." "Yes, I am," said Gordon. "I don't know if I feel like taking on this run today or not. Or perhaps I should have to keep going," he moaned. "Don't worry, you'll get your rest sooner or later," said Neville. "Just you wait." Then he heard a guard's whistle. "My passengers are on board, I must go," and Neville puffed excitedly away, whistling goodbye to Gordon. He'd still had time to race down the line, pass by the Duke and Duchess's house. Then he went racing through the sheds and to Wellsworth Station to take on water. By the time Neville's water injector inside his tender was filled up, Neville could feel a taste in his mouth. He groaned. "This isn't tap water. Whatever it was, it's disgusting." "We'll worry about that later, old boy," said his driver. Neville took no notice, and he set off to the next station. When Neville came back to the sheds, he told both Murdoch and Molly all about the situation with the water tower. I've tasted the water from that water tower yesterday," said Molly, and I thought it tasted bad." "It tastes like mud," complained Murdoch. "I wish the Fat Controller would do something about that." The three engines' conversation was shortened until they heard an unfamiliar whistle. Coming to the sheds was a steam engine that looked the same size as a diesel, but unlike diesel engines, this engine has a funnel, which shows you that he is really a steam engine. The Fat Controller climbed out with excitement. "This is Logan," he said. "He's going to be helping us on the main line," he said. He is the latest addition to the mainland railway, and now you must all welcome him to my railway. As he walked away, the three engines both looked at Logan with interest. "Logan?" sighed Molly. What gave you that name?" she asked. They gave me that name after my designer," said Logan. It's a long story, though." Both Murdoch, Molly and Neville were very happy for their new friend, and were all continuing on chatting until the next day. Later that day, Logan was shunting some empty trucks into a siding when Layla, looking at the strange-looking engine with interest, spoke to Logan. "Hello there," she said. "I believe we haven't met yet. I'm Layla, by the way. What's yours?" "I'm Logan," said Logan. "Nice to meet you, Layla. I was brought here to help on the main line as you were," said Logan. "Interesting," thought Layla. "You must be lucky to have a name that suits you." "Thanks," blushed Logan. Then he told Layla the story about how he became the latest addition to the mainland railway. Layla looked very interested indeed. Until later It had started raining. Murdoch and Molly were happy to be nice and warm in their sheds, but they were worried about Neville. I guess he's on his late passenger run, said Molly, and I hope he makes it in time before he breaks down, thought Murdoch, looking worried, but they were still hoping. And Neville was taking his late passenger run from Wellsworth to the big station. He was worried that he might not make it in time. Well, I'm glad this coach has a roof, said Neville, or otherwise the passengers would have been soaked. Don't you worry, the guard has reminded them to close the windows just in case, said the driver. Now let's go, old boy. And Neville puffed on. He knew he could do it, but he had to triumph. He started racing up the hill, and then to the Sodor suspension bridge. Neville was going on fine, but then there was trouble. Neville could feel a pain in his boiler. He had to stop. My water injector's failed, he complained. Don't worry, old boy, said his driver. I'll telephone for help. Meanwhile, Logan was returning home from Wellsworth to Titmouth Sheds when the station master flagged him down. He had bad news. Neville's water injector has failed, and I need you to rescue him and take him to the big station. I'll try, said Logan. He was determined to help his friend, and he puffed on. But meanwhile, on the other hand, Neville was beginning to feel sorry for himself, and Cross especially. This is all my fault, he complained. I should never have taken that bad water at the water tower. I wish the Fat Controller could do something about that, he complained. Just then, he heard a familiar engine's whistle. Logan, he said, you're here. I am, Neville, said Logan. No time to talk. We must get you to the station immediately. And Logan was coupled up. Then he was ready. Peep, peep, whistled Logan. I'm ready. So am I, shouted Neville. Then Logan pulled Neville out of the tunnel and up the hill. The rain began to go on, but Logan didn't care. He knew he didn't want the passengers to be cross. Then he carried on and on and on. Soon, as they went down the hill to Shen Valley, the rain had already stopped. Then they approached the big station at the docks. Henry was there waiting until at last the two engines were able to breathe a sigh of relief. Right on time, Henry said eagerly. The next morning, the Fat Controller came to see the other engines in the sheds, especially Logan. You have all done well, he said, especially you, Logan. You've showed me and my engines how impressive you really do your work, he said. Now you can still show us all how it's done on my railway, he said. You have given us a good example of how really useful you have become. Thank you, sir, said Logan. Then he was about to speak when Molly interrupted. Sir, she asked, have you discovered the situation of the water tower? Then the Fat Controller began. I have, Molly, he said. I think the reason that the water tower had funny taste in the water is because the drain pipes have snapped, and they'll be replaced with new ones over the month, he said. With that, the four engines began to whistle and cheer. Until a few days later, Logan's visit was still satisfying, and he was feeling very happy. Even his friends on the Sodor Railway were very pleased with their new friend, and Logan was always happy that he was still given warm welcomes on the Sodor Railway.